Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Board Game Captain.
I'm Lynn.
And today we're doing another top 10 list. We are counting down our top 10 games that everybody else hates. Now, let me explain this a little bit. This was Lynn's idea. We're not really meaning that everybody hates these games. There are plenty of people, I'm sure, that are big fans of these. In fact, I've seen people online comment that are big fans of many of these games. But these are games that while we rate them positively, the lowest rating on my list is a 6, and that's only one game.
The highest?
No, the lowest that I rated anything was a 6.
That you rated.
That I rated, yeah. Okay. The lowest thing I rated on my list is a 6. Everything else is a 7 or even an 8. Every game on my list, though, its average rating on Board Game Geek is under 6 stars. 6 being the lowest possible positive rating. So everything on my list I rate positively, while the average Board Game Geek user does not. And yours as well, I'm sure, because that's kind of what we went with. So now this was your idea. What made you think of this one?
I don't know.
You just came to me one day and you're like, let's do a list of games only we like that nobody else likes.
I honestly don't know.
You know what, though? I do like the idea for this list because ratings are very subjective. And even though we are YouTube board game reviewers and we give you our opinions all the time, you may not agree with us. We may not agree with you. Everybody doesn't always agree with each other. And you can see that by the diverse group of ratings on any game on Board Game Geek that's got more than a few ratings. So this is kind of cool. I mean, you know what? Just because most people dislike a game and you like it doesn't mean you're wrong. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what this list is about. Is because you can like whatever you like. Watching us board game reviewers is just to give you an idea of what other people who you already know what their tastes are into. Mm-hmm. And these are some ones that for us are kind of aberrations. I guess we like them, but other people don't or don't get them. Mm-hmm. So did you want to go first or second on this one?
I'll go first.
You want to go first? All right, so start us off, Lynn.
My number 10 is Zombiepox. It has an average of 5.11.
That's not very good. I don't think it has a lot of ratings, though, right?
I didn't see how many ratings, but yeah, not like no one's ever heard of this game, basically.
Yeah. Well, you found
then it's out of print, and
when it was in print, you found it in like a little dark corner of the dealer hall at Gen Con.
Yes.
And like no one was at the booth.
It was the only thing they were selling. They were like super excited when I showed that I had interest in their game.
I guess no one else had been showing much interest that day.
Yeah, well, it's a learning game.
Why don't you talk about the game a little bit?
This game was developed to help teach about vaccines and herd immunity. You can see on the back, there's a little like rubber play mat, and you put
it's like neoprene.
Yeah, you put you put green tokens over them to show that they've been vaccinated, but there's babies and you can't vaccinate babies, so you have to vaccinate the people around them to protect the babies because
herd immunity.
Yeah, herd immunity.
Except they gave it a fun horror theme. Mm-hmm. Instead of just being like you're vaccinating people against the flu or smallpox, they made it a zombie plague. And people can turn into zombies if they get surrounded by everybody with the zombie pox.
You get a red token over you if you become a zombie, but then...
No, the red token is infected.
Oh, you're infected. Red token is you're infected.
And then if you're surrounded by red tokens, you turn into a zombie.
Yes. And then there are cards where you can cure people or vaccinate multiple people.
And there's random cards for the way the disease spreads. Mm-hmm. You know, this isn't a bad game. I will play it with you on occasion. I don't like it nearly as much as you do, but...
It's basically a solitaire game that they were like, oh hey, you can do co-op too, but it's solitaire co-op.
It's totally. I've actually played this once or twice solitaire. Believe it or not, there's very few games that I have. I'm not a big solo gamer, but I know you have played this a lot. Yeah. Solo, like I've seen you just like sit down and play it.
There is randomness with the cards, but it is
mitigatable.
It's mostly like just a puzzle game, like trying to figure out who to vaccinate in what order to try and stop the zombie plague.
Fair enough. So that was your number 10, yes. Zombiepox. So my number 10, Now, I did my list in the order of how much I like the game. So this is my 1 6-star game. But this is a game I have a lot of nostalgia with, and I used to rate it a lot higher. It's just advances in game mechanics have caused it to go down to a 6, and unfortunately I don't get to play it that much. But it is also one of the other few games I have ever soloed. And that is Lone Wolf and Cub. Now, Lone Wolf and Cub is a classic storytelling game. It's kind of an adventure game. If you play it multiplayer, you have almost no interaction with the other player. You can play it 2 players, but each of you goes off and does your adventures. You're like, I'm fighting bandits while I am defeating a spirit at the river. And it's like you do your own thing and you get your experience, and you're trying to build up enough points basically to win. If you play it solo, you're just playing it until you win. And, I mean, I used to play this game a lot, and this was a game I've played with family members, I've played by myself, and I've thoroughly enjoyed over the years. And, I mean, I've played the heck out of it. But its average rating, and I'm just checking, this is the lowest average rating of any of my games, I think, on Board Game Geek. Its average rating is a 4.24. So there's a lot of hate for this game.
That's lower than my lowest.
Yeah, it's really low. That's why, I mean, even though I only rated a 6, the disparity between my 6 and the average rating being only a 4.24 is really pretty huge, which is why I decided to put it on the list even though it's only a 6. Because I do still like this game, and I definitely have the minority opinion on that. And that is Lone Wolf and Cub. It's kind of an adventure storytelling game. It was an old school game from Mayfair back in, I think it was released in '89. It's one of my older games that's still in my collection. A lot of nostalgia with that.
My number 9 has an average rating of 4.29. It is...
Wait a minute. 4.29? That's... Oh, okay. No, Lone Wolf and Cub's still lower. 4.24.
Yeah.
I got confused for a minute.
It's the Solitaire peg jumping game, which is in our multi-game.
Now, the name of the game is Solitaire.
Solitaire.
But it can be confused with the card Solitaire.
Yeah, that's what... Yeah. So, I mean, you use, the sorry pieces.
No, I think you use, on this one, I think we use the checkers.
Okay, the checkers, are they that small?
Yeah, they're small. Okay. Set, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the one where you fill up everything except for one dot, and then you have to jump everything and only have one remain to win. Yeah. And I mean,
it's a puzzle.
I mean, I don't understand why people hate this. They wouldn't have them at tables at Cracker Barrel if people hated it.
Oh, yeah, they do have it. They have a different version of it. They have the triangle one.
Yeah, they have the triangle one with the pegs. That's actually the one that I had as a kid, was the triangle one.
Yeah, I had that too. Okay, so when I was a kid, I was obsessed with beating this. Mm-hmm. I actually had a copy and was obsessed with winning. But once I won it, I never played it again. And I think that's the problem. Because it's not really like a game so much as it is a puzzle. And once you beat it, it loses your interest.
Right, but that's when you choose a different thing to leave empty and you try and beat it that way.
I suppose. You know what? This is one where I think I'm with the rest of the people. But I understand why you like it. So, let me get that off to the side. So what number was Solitaire?
That was number 9.
Number 9. So my number 9 is one that I know you like as well, but apparently didn't make your list.
Okay.
And that is Professor Pugnacious. God, it's so hard to say. Professor Pugnacious's Portfolio of Perils, Pugilism, and Perfidy. Okay, you know what? This has to be on my list just for the name alone. But, I mean, this is a fun little, deck builder with some very interesting mechanics where the cards move around the table slowly, and you have a section where you can get cards from, but only you, and other people have their own section. It's a fun game.
It needs a lazy Susan, so you can just...
to move the cards easier?
Yeah.
Now, there are issues with this game. I don't pretend like it's perfect, but I like it. I've never... had a bad experience playing it. We've always enjoyed it. I give it around 7 stars. Usually, I'm around 7 stars with this game. So it's not like it's one of my favorite games of all time, but I do enjoy it, and I do like it. And 7 is quite a positive score, and its average rating is a 5.77. And I don't really understand the hatred for it. There's a lot worse deck builders out there. For a little while, deck builders were like all the rage, and everybody was making a deck builder. And there were plenty of crappy ones that are higher rated than this. Mm-hmm. I seriously don't understand the vitriol for it. Now, this one missed your list?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was low rated.
Oh, this is one you just missed it. But so this might have been on your list if you had noticed.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you have it. That is my number 9, Professor Pugnacious's portfolio of perils, pugilism, and perfidy.
Okay, so my number 8 is Flippin' Flags. The average rating is 4.71. People hate educational games.
4 point what?
7.1.
That's about where I am with it, yeah.
This is, what would you say, like not really dexterity.
No, but it's a speed.
A speed game. You separate, each card has 3 flags on it.
Yeah.
You separate the deck between all the people playing, and you simultaneously all flip over the top card of your deck, and if any 2 flags on any cards match, you yell out the number of the country, and then you collect those flags. Well, you collect the cards, and whoever has the most cards at the end wins. But like you need to know the difference between the Australian and the New Zealand flag, first of all.
That's pretty important. Okay.
Because many people have yelled at one, and it was like one of each flag.
Your obsession with games about flags is bizarre. And I swear, one of the writers on Big Bang Theory has got to have known you as a child because Sheldon Cooper is totally based on you.
I like geography. I like maps. I like flags. I think it's interesting.
Fair enough. So that was your number 8?
Yes.
Flipping flags. Yeah, you just flip a flag over, and then as soon as someone can yell out the 2 flags that are in common on the table, yeah, you get those cards as points. So my next one is a classic game. Now, this is a game that in the United States we know as Mancala. However, Mancala is actually a family of games. There's many different games in the Mancala family, and the version that we play in the United States is normally referred to as Kala on Board Game Geek, which is Kalah on Board Game Geek. In the United States, it's always just sold as Mancala, but I have seen there's quite a few other versions that are still played modern day in many different countries around the world, from Africa to Asia to the Americas. And with how much this game, it has, a surviving fan base in all of its different versions and around the world, and is so widely played, I was kind of surprised to see that this version of it, Kala, is only got an average of 5.87 stars on Board Game Geek. Whereas I'm a big fan of Mancala. I love Mancala, and I'll play it anytime. I even have a video game version I downloaded on my iPad that I play, because I like Mancala. There's no randomness. It's 100% mathematical. It's figuring out what is the best move to make it the best time. And now some people might say that makes it kind of a puzzle more than a game, but it is multiplayer, and it's similar to chess. Yeah, okay, there is a puzzle element to it, but it is one of those things where you can spend a lot of time studying it and mastering it, which is why I give it 7 out of 10 stars. And that's kind of a big disparity between my 7 and the average 5.87. So there you go. That was my number 8. Kala or Mancala.
My number 7 is my lowest rated at 4.28.
Yowzers.
It is the Eurovision Song Contest board game. This is the new version.
Where do you rate this?
I think I gave it like a 6. We did do a review on it. 6?
No, I think you were higher than that.
7,
you must have been at least a 7.
6 or a 7.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a trivia game, and I mean, this goes all the way back to like the beginning, like in the 50s. So there's loads of questions that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, you just love it for the theme. I mean, you're just in love with it because it's a Eurovision themed game.
They did. I mean, they did try with the set collecting and making your own little entry. They
Yeah.
try to make it not just pure trivia.
You know what? I think that the problem with this is, okay, so the set collecting was the most interesting part. The trivia game at its core is boring. It's a trivia game. The set collecting is the only thing that keeps me interested on the rare occasions that we play this game. And I kind of feel like they should have just made it like a set collecting game where you're like a manager building your Eurovision act for your country and you're doing the set collecting to try to make the most valuable act. And they should have ignored the trivia completely. Mm-hmm. Like, it could have been a good game.
Like, maybe just had, like, bonus point trivia or something.
Yeah, but making the main point of the game a trivia game is where this game falls flat. Mm-hmm. For me, especially, because I think I gave it 4 stars.
Yeah.
So, you were like a 7 and I was a 4.
Also because, I mean, now there's, there's a card that's obviously wrong. Next year there's going to be another card that's obviously wrong because you're going to have a different winner,
Well, all right. That is Eurovision Song Contest, the board game. It's a pretty looking game. I'll give you that. You know what's funny is that you and I are actually with the majority of people on each other's entries on this for the most part. There's very few we agree on. So my next one, my number 7. That's what we were up to. That was your 7, right?
I believe so.
Let me just check. I think I did my 8. Yeah. So my number 7 is a game came out a few years back. Didn't really make much of a splash, though I liked it. And this was before we were doing the channel. This is a game that you don't like nearly as much as me. I think you might be with everybody else on this, which is why it doesn't hit the table nearly as often as I would like, because I do like this game, and that is Captain's Wager. Now, Captain's Wager is a very interesting modern take on kind of like a gambling game, kind of a wagering game. But it's got interesting things because you can sort of bet against yourself in this. There are ways to make sure you'll win something even if you know you're going to lose. And I kind of dig that. Plus, on top of it, the whole steampunk, sky pirate artwork is really nice. I really like the look of it. This is a 7-star game for me, but the average rating on Board Game Geek is 5.68. I like that there's luck, but it's mitigatable. I like that there's ways to because you have 3 options, which are like bet, borrow, and steal. Where every time you take an action, which is kind of cool. Bet is like you're going to win. Steal is you're going to lose. You're going to steal something when no one's looking, So you can get some treasure anyway. And it's really kind of neat as you're sending your crew members on adventures to collect treasure that then you're trying to win in the gambling game. Yeah, and I get a kick out of Captain's Wager. I'm a fan of it. So that was my number 7.
Okay, so my number 6 is Dominos.
Classic game. Now this is one. How low rated is Dominos?
Dominos has a 5.92. We have this nice set we got in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's very lovely.
It has a palm tree and the Puerto Rican flag.
No, okay. So 5.92 isn't terrible. It's pretty close to a 6, but I'm surprised this is less than a 6. Again, this is such a widespread game that is still played so much today. You know what the problem is none of those people go on Board Game Geek.
No, it's those people, playing in side alleys, yelling at each other. They're not
Go!
They're not rating games on Board Game Geek, The people getting customized domino tables with like the topographical map of Puerto Rico on it are not going on Board Game Geek.
Any fans of ours who are from Puerto Rico know what I just yelled. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you on this one. I mean, I would give it at least a 6.
Yeah, it's.
I don't understand. It's just under a 6.
Yeah, it's almost a 6.
But I'm a little surprised it's under a 6. I think it should be at least a 6 personally. I mean, you're probably higher than a 6. You're probably a 7 or something with this, I'd guess. Where would you be with?
I would give it an 8.
An 8? Wow.
I like
okay.
Dominos.
Yeah, you're a bit. I was gonna say that is one that for the classic games is probably one of your one of the classic games you still really like a lot.
I even like SpongeBob Dominoes.
Who were you playing SpongeBob Dominoes with?
Ava.
Oh right, okay. My cousin's daughter Ava. Yes, I forgot. I remember you were playing SpongeBob Dominoes with someone. I don't remember who it was. Okay. So, hi Ava, if you're watching. So, let's see. Yes, so my number 6 is also a classic game. And this is another one that I don't understand why it's so low. I think a lot of these are just that these really old games, modern gamers get such a distaste for them, even though some of them really do hold up. And I mean, Dominos, I don't think is a bad game. Neither, in my opinion, is the Royal Game of Ur.
Because they don't have all the bells and whistles of modern games.
So now, all right, Royal Game of Ur is a fairly basic race game, but rather than just have like a 6-sided die, you roll 2 4-sided dice that have. Excuse me, I think you roll 4 4-sided dice that have 0s and 1s on them, and that's it. So it's kind of like binary. So it's much easier to figure out where your average is because the average is much more stable. And there's some strategy because you roll and then you decide where to move a piece. And there's certain spaces that you get a free extra roll, and there's other spaces where if an opponent's piece is on it, you can bounce them off the board. So there's strategy to choosing one maneuver over another. And of the classic race games, this one is my favorite that you can still get a hold of. And it's why I give it 7 stars, even though the average rating on the Royal Game of Ur is a lowly 5.64.
I think it's kind of boring.
Oh, so you're is 5.64 around where you would be, or are you even lower than that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't hate it. It's just
See,
boring.
I like it.
I don't know.
I like it, though. I do. I still like the Royal Game of Ur, but there you have it. And that's the point of this list, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Let's see. So we're on 5. My 5 is Fantasy Forest.
What is the average rating on this? Because I'm sure it's actually probably closer to the truth than your rating on this one.
5.84.
That's high. That's too high.
Fantasy Forest. I had this when I was a kid, and Josh found this copy for me on eBay because I didn't have my copy anymore.
Yeah, you were talking about it like for ages. Oh man, I used to love that game. It was so much fun.
You go around the map and you fight monsters, and then you got to get to the wizard in the middle, and it's awesome. And I don't know what's wrong with you. You can fight the other people too. Like if you land on the same space, you can challenge them.
This was TSR decided to do their own version of Candyland back in the day, and that's what this was.
There are multiple paths.
There are. Well, I think there were a couple of different multiple paths even in Candyland.
Oh, are there?
I think there are. I think the only real difference here was there was the teleporting ability to help you catch up if you fell really far behind, and there was the combat system where you could even fight other players. Those were really the only differences, the big differences between like this and Candyland. Otherwise, this was like. I mean, and you know what?
Well, there's hand management because
there's kind of that in Candyland too, though. They use cards to move in Candyland.
I played Candyland like twice in my life, so I don't actually remember it all that well.
I'm surprised I remember it that well, to be honest. But it's not a bad game. It's not. It's a kid's game. It's just if you're an adult, for me, I find it quite boring. But where are you at with this? How many stars would you give this?
I would give it 7. I mean, it is I enjoy it. It is a kid's game and it is simple, but
but you do still like it. All right, fair enough. Well, there you have it, and that is Fantasy Forest, a child's first fantasy adventure by TSR. Yeah, I love looking at that old TSR logo though. God, what a throwback that is! It's amazing.
The Game Wizards is the subtitle of the TSR.
Yes, TSR, the Game Wizards. Yes. So I was trying to. I don't want to get too off topic, so I'm gonna get right on to my number 5. Now my number 5 is nowhere near that old. It's a number of years old, but this is a 2-player tile-laying game called Gold Ahoy, which in America was put out by Mayfair and Lookout Games. And now, this is one that kind of came and went pretty quickly. It's a fairly abstract and quick to play, easy to learn tile laying game where you're trying to have paths of either sand or water that go to your side of the table and not your opponent's, because as long as they do, any of the treasure chests on them give you a point, whereas if they go to both your sides on the table, whoever has the most paths going to that treasure chest gets the point. And I mean, it's very simple, very quick to play, very easy to learn, but I enjoy the simplicity of it. Like, this is a really cool, small footprint kind of pub game. I mean, you don't like it as much as me, but you don't dislike this one, right? You said it was like okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
So, but Okay, so you're probably with everybody else, because everybody else gives this only a 5.56. Whereas I give Gold Ahoy 7 stars. I actually quite like it. I like the simple, quick tile laying game without being another Dominos clone. It's not about matching up symbols in this one. It's about building paths. And I kind of dig that. I really kind of like it. And I'm really kind of surprised that nobody else does but me, apparently. But that is my number 5, Gold Ahoy.
My number 4 is the Village Crone. It has a 5.92. I think that's my highest rated. Yeah, this is the highest out of all mine. This is
Well, where would you rate Village Crone?
Where would I rate it? 7.
Okay.
I can't think of the word.
It's
worker placement is.
It's got a little worker placement. It's got a few different things going on.
Yeah, I would say it's mainly worker placement, though. You have the village, and the players are the village crone, and you're trying to be the best village crone by each place on the village. Like, there's a farm, and there's like a gathering, like the center of the village, like a green, and there's villagers placed on all these different areas, and you're trying to manipulate them and get points. You can make certain villagers fall in love. You can turn other villagers into frogs, and it's just...
This game is so forgettable for me.
Yeah. You're just like staring like I
Well, I'm just letting you... I don't remember... Like, this is a game, like, we play it, and then 5 minutes later, I don't remember how to play this game. I don't think I hate it. It's just meh.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan, and I think, well, and what was the average score on Board Game Geek?
5.92.
I'm probably like a 5 on this one, maybe a 4. I don't know. I'm not a but I do know you like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, similar to quite a few of mine with you, I'm not a fan of Village Crone.
Well, you're allowed to not like the same things that I like.
That's the whole point of this list. So number 4 for me.
It should be 4. Yes.
Yeah, so I said
Okay.
number 4. Is a game that I do know you like, because you rated it positively with me. The only thing, in my opinion, that holds this game back is the poor production quality. The game rules itself are really good. I just wish they had done this as a bigger, grander game with plastic miniatures, larger board, and just better player boards, all sorts of better production quality. But they wanted to keep the cost down. But apparently, most people on Board Game Geek do not agree with me or they feel that the production quality really brings the score much further down than it did for me. For me, this is around a 7-star game, but on Board Game Geek, Attack of the Kaiju is a 5.94-star game. Now, Attack of the Kaiju is a arena battle game where you each take control of a kaiju, a giant monster, and fight it out in the city, fighting the other monsters, destroying buildings, destroying tanks. And the actual gameplay, while the little cardboard cutout pieces and the board that is too small are disappointing, the actual gameplay is amazingly fun. I love picking up monsters and throwing them into buildings.
I think I'm not a big fan of the pimping out games, but I think this would be a game that I would be okay with just upgrading. Because it would be so much
cooler, right?
Yeah,
and this is when you agree.
I do enjoy playing it, and I like it, but I never want to play it because it's such a hassle on that tiny little board.
And like the little tanks and the little buildings look so similar to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wish they had done a nicer version of this. I would love... Yeah, this is one that maybe one day I will pimp out. I've toyed with the idea, I just haven't done it yet. But yeah, and I mean, the game itself was cheap enough that it doesn't... I don't feel bad about like paying for it twice to buy upgraded components, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that is Attack of the Kaiju. And again, the only thing I don't like about it is really the component quality. That's it. The game itself is quite fun. This really does give me the feel of a old school giant monster beat 'em up. I really do like it. But yeah, that was my number 4.
I just want to build like a tiny model of of like
Tokyo.
our town. And
our town, and have the monsters smashing around. Yeah. You know, I think at some point, if especially, I was thinking I might try to get like someone to print me a vinyl mat of a reproduction of the larger of the two boards. Mm-hmm. And then maybe get some like plastic buildings for the buildings, and maybe get some like Godzilla toys to be the monsters. Mm-hmm. Because like each one of these is obviously meant to represent a particular monster, most of which are definitely from the Godzilla franchise. Mm-hmm. So there's JoJo Zero, you get Godzilla. I forgot this guy's name, but he's with the big blade arms. He totally looks like Gigan with his big bladed hooks. You just get a thing of Gigan. There's another one that's a big plant monster, which looks like Biolante. There is one. He's called Slothulu. So yeah, that's the one that might be a little difficult. You might have to just pick another Godzilla monster to be him if you're taking toys off in the same toy line. But yeah, no, I mean, I do like this game. Oh, and then there's a giant insect one. There were multiple giant insect kaiju from the various old Toho movies. So
my number 3 is Catan Dice.
I'm with you on this one.
It has a 5.69.
That is really low.
And I mean, yeah, it's more random because you're getting everything via the dice.
But it's a press your luck dice game.
Yeah, I like press your luck dice games. I prefer this to regular Catan, and less the Catan is Starfarers of Catan, which
I mean it's a press your
spaceships are broken, so we can't play that.
it's a press your luck roll and write game.
Yeah.
And I think it does what it does well. I enjoy playing with this, and I'm with you on this one. This is one I forgot to put on my list. I just missed it, just like how you missed Professor Pugnacious. Mm-hmm. This probably should have been on my list, and I'm totally with you on this one. I don't understand why it's so low. It's a fun game. You know what? It's a simple. It's basically a little bit more advanced than Zombie Dice. People are still all for Zombie Dice. I don't know why there's hate on this. Maybe because there's no zombies.
I don't know. Because I mean, you get the abilities and everything. You fill out.
Yeah, you do the roll. You do the roll and write. But when you're doing the roll and write, you're doing it to fill in things that you would normally get in a game of Settlers of Catan. So I mean, there's just a lot of Catan hate though in these days too. Mm-hmm. A lot of people claiming they never liked Settlers of Catan because it's like I think it's a gamer hipster thing. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway. My number 3 is a game I think you're probably going to agree with me on because you do like it, even though you have you often talk about that you like it but can't win it, and that is Arcadia. Now, I bought Arcadia a number of years ago because it's a game about building a amusement park, and you do it with kind of like a set collecting, resource management sort of way. Where you collect workers that you need to build certain rides, and you're trying to get the most points, and you can upgrade rides, and I mean it's I find it to be really fun.
I think it's a good game. It's just that I'm terrible at it, and I want to like it. Like every time we go to play it, I'm like, all right, this game is gonna be the one where I finally figure out how to play this properly, and then. Like 20 minutes later, like less than halfway through the game, I'm like losing so horribly, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't understand it.
and I quite like this game. I still enjoy this game. It's still in our collection. It's been in our collection for years. I give Arcadia 7 stars, but the average person on Board Game Geek at this point gives it a 5.93. That is where its average is at. And
I wonder if most of them are just like me, where they want to like it, but they're just so terrible at it that they don't.
I don't know. I don't know where all the hatred comes for this one. Again, this is another one that, I mean, we've both enjoyed this, so, and we still play it once in a while. So
I enjoy the first 15 minutes of it.
What do you got?
My number 2. I'm trying to find it. My number 2 is Flags of the World. It has a 4.70. What is that?
Yeah, that's pretty low.
Is that? I thought you were gonna say that was too high.
Wow. No.
Well, this is one where it's another flag game, but you're
This is better than your other flag game that you had.
Yeah, you're looking at flags and saying, okay, that is the flag of Costa Rica. And if you're right, you get it, and you get extra cards. And if you're wrong, then you get hints, up to 2 hints, to help you figure out what country it is.
This is not terrible, but it's still a trivia game, and I'm mediocre on it. Though it is one of the better rated trivia games for me. But yeah, it's still a trivia game. And trivia games. Modern gamers don't like trivia games,
comes with
myself included.
So. Giant map of the world.
You're just obsessed with everything flag-based, so that's a given. So my number 2 is another classic abstract strategy game. It is Nine Men's Morris. I have this nice Nine Men's Morris set here that is like a little travel Nine Men's Morris set that I can bring with me. I have it in a pouch, and I've been a big fan of Nine Men's Morris since I first tried it. There are many variations of it. I personally really like the variation where you're able to move diagonally in the corners of the board, though you cannot mill there. But basically the idea with Nine Men's Morris is you first set up pieces on the intersections of these sets of 3 squares that are within each other, and after you set up the pieces, you attempt to move them around to get 3 in a row, in a similar way to like tic-tac-toe. Getting 3 in a row allows you to capture one of your opponent's pieces. You keep capturing pieces until your opponent doesn't have enough to make a mill themselves. A mill is 3 in a row. So when your opponent's down to 2 pieces, they lose. Now, there's a simplicity to this. It's a complete information, abstract strategy game, and I really like it. This is one of my favorite classic games that I still play. Now, I know you're not a fan.
I don't like it.
And the average Board Game Geek rating is a 5.36.
It's way too high.
What?
It's like a 3. I hate this game.
Your turn.
For what? For number 1?
For what?
Number 1 has a 5.32, which is an atrocity, and I don't know what is wrong with people, but how could you rate Masterpiece Mystery, Motive for Murder, a 5.32? Is that what I said? 5.32?
Yeah.
5.32.
How many stars do you give Masterpiece Mystery?
Like 8 or 9? I like it.
Now, here's the thing. It's my number 1 also, and this is... Okay, we didn't plan this.
With art by Edward Gorey. 5.32! This
one blew my mind. So I saw that it had a 5.32, and immediately this went on my list. And the thing is, I am an 8. I'm an 8 stars with Mystery. I really enjoy this game. Mainly in its simplest form. I don't think it's got like 5 different versions. Now, I don't think the more advanced versions really are that much better for the level of complexity they add. But the basic version of this is great. And I'm totally with you on this. I don't understand why its average rating is so low. 5.32 is really low for something that I don't think should have anything lower than an average rating of a 7. I mean, this is a really good game. I really don't understand it being that low at all. So...
I just wonder if... I didn't look to see how many people rated it. I just wonder if it doesn't have a lot of ratings.
Well, I didn't notice that either. I have to take a look. But, so, the idea is this is a tile-laying game where you're laying tiles to try to get the best motives for suspects to have killed the murder victim. And all of the illustrations and everything is very tongue-in-cheek, and definitely is based on the intro to the classic Masterpiece Theater animated intro. And this is a really fun game. I mean, we've talked about it a lot on the channel because we like it a lot. But obviously, most of the people rating it on Board Game Geek don't agree with us. But there you have it. Those are our top 10 games that everybody else hates. So why don't you comment down below and let us know, what are some games that you love that you know everybody else dislikes? Go ahead, put it down below, let us know. You can let us know what you think of some of our choices. You can tell us you hate some of these, or you can tell us that you also like some of these and don't understand where all the hatred comes from. Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give it a like. Share it on all forms of social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Kaptain. That's Kaptain spelled with a K on YouTube. And hit that little bell icon on my channel so that you get updates every time I upload a new video. And until next time, game on.